Well, it's 9. We can all get started. Again.
There's some audio issues.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, better
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can hear everybody. We can go ahead and get started. It's 9 or 9:01. So I think almost everybody was at our last meeting. We're going to take a little break from the comp plan, or hopefully everybody got my email rather that I sent. We're going to take a little break from the comp plan and take a look at the Middle Cheshire Road and Hospital Active Transportation Study. The draft is in its final stages. I shared it via email last week. Hopefully you guys got it, had a chance to take a look at it. I have it pulled up. I'll share my screen in a second. This project has taken a while. Last year kind of got in the way of itself. But our consultants, Bergman, I think have done a great job despite the challenges. They were able to hold an in-person public meeting outside last summer. And we've continued the steering committee meetings via Zoom throughout the process. And I feel like they went well. They were using some real-time polling methods and survey methods during our steering committee meetings. And I think they actually sent out, they sent out a survey to try and get some feedback from the residents. So I think they did a pretty good job. We're hoping that this can be sent to the town board soon so they can take a look at it and hopefully adopt it so that we can move on with implementation. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Is there anyone who cannot see this? Okay. So does anyone have any general comments about the study or the plan itself, if you had a chance to take a look at it, or any questions?
Sarah, so you sent this out last week?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't receive it.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
I didn't get it
Yeah.
either, Sarah.
Well, I'm on my home computer because my new work computer is not happy. So it's possible that it didn't go.
Sure.
Did anyone get it?
Yeah, I got it
No.
from Sam.
I didn't get it either, Sarah.
Okay, so it sounds like the only people that got it would have been the steering committee. We sent that to them, well, I don't know, a week or so ago. Well, should we not go over this then? It's too long to walk through every page. I don't know. Now I'm stumped.
When are they discussing it again? I can't recall. You say it was this afternoon, right?
No.
27.
We just finalized the final public meeting. I think it's going to be, it's next, the 27th at noon. It's the public meeting. It was just the time that worked the best, but it's going to be all virtual for this last one instead of trying to do anything in person. But the draft is pretty much, I mean, it's ready to share with the public before we set up anything for the town board.
It's going to be on the 27th.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's will it be in the evening?
No, at noon.
Oh, at noon. Okay.
It's
Right.
not the public hearing. It's just a public informational meeting, the final public meeting for them to provide feedback. I haven't shared it with the public yet. We just finalized it this morning. Well, I apologize that the email didn't work. I've had a lot of trouble this last week. That's why I gave up on the work computer and just decided to use my own this morning. It's working just fine.
So will you
Um,
send us the information regarding the Zoom, a link for that, for this meeting noon on the 27th?
Yeah, I'm gonna share it like on MailChimp and everything else and on the Facebook page too, to try and get people to hear about it. You know, we were hoping, I was trying to pick times that would work. Obviously it had to work for Bergman and our GTC partners, but trying to pick times that the public would be available. So it was either gonna be evening or I was trying to do it around the lunch hour. So hopefully people will be able to show up. But yeah, I'll make a note to send it to you guys too.
Okay.
But keep your eye out on the MailChimp. I think everybody gets the town's email messages from MailChimp that we send out with the newsletter and everything. We'll send it that way too, and then put it on probably the Facebook page and stuff, just to try and get people to be aware of it.
Sarah, is the, I have an email here that you had sent out on Friday that has a link in it, download all files. If I forward that to everyone, will they have the information there?
Yeah, it should work. I think that's the one that Sam Aldrich sent out to our steering committee meeting, or steering committee members, sorry. And depending on your internet connection, it's a pretty hefty download. I did actually put it on our website too, on the page on our website for this study. But again, it's pretty big. I wasn't able to shrink it. But yeah, the email has a link to Bergman's FTP site. So anyone who has the link should be able to view it. I don't think it's protected or anything. All right, well, I'm sorry. I'm kind of stumped as to what to do now, since this was my entire plan for the morning.
I did just get,
Sounds
I
like
got the email
Norm.
from Doug.
Okay.
Sarah, I went to the website, and where it says read the draft study, there's no link there. It's not,
Okay.
so there's a problem there. So it's not actually, there's no link to it there, so.
Sounds like everything I did on the work computer that day just wasn't working.
Eric, could you maybe just touch on some of the bigger highlights and kind of walk through what you know of it? Just because, I mean, it's all Greek to me because I haven't been involved in this in a while. So.
Yeah, let me see. I think they may have put in kind of an executive summary towards the beginning, maybe. So just to remind everybody what this was, much like with Uptown Study, we received a grant from the Unified Planning Work Program, which includes federal transportation money. It's administered through the Genesee Transportation Council, the GTC. You guys have probably heard us refer to them. So we've been working with them for a few years. So we applied a couple years ago for a grant to take a look at Middle Cheshire Road from Wells Curtis all the way into the city around the hospital, to take a look at that whole area and see what could be improved for transportation in general, but focusing on active transportation and alternative transportation methods specifically. We worked with the city, with Rob Richardson, to keep them involved, since obviously some of the study area includes the city of Canandaigua. We were successful in getting the grant, and through RFP process, we hired Bergman, which everybody's familiar with. They worked with us on the Uptown project, and they are working with us on their form-based code project for the Uptown area. So Bergman has been working with us since 2019 on this, and they've held, I think we've only had one other public meeting, so 2 total, but we've had a handful of steering committee meetings. I know a couple of you have been involved in those. And as everyone who is familiar with Bergman knows, everything they recommend is basically giving back to us what we said we liked throughout all the steering committee and public meeting processes. You know, they say, here are examples of some common treatments you can put on streets and make it easier for people to, you know, ride bikes, etc. You know, which of these makes sense? And they took into account the various, I don't know what we would say, but they call them character areas. So as everybody knows, all along Middle Cheshire Road, it isn't all the same. You know, we've got rural farmland down at the southern end, you know, and then it gets progressively busier as we get into the city. So they took all that into account when they were asking questions and looking for recommendations from us. And then over the course of this meetings have provided back to us a set of recommendations that have included, and if you guys get a chance to take a look at this, if that link works after this, you'll see that, let's see, here's a basic recommendation map. The purple shows that they're recommending, you know, bike lanes on the shoulder at Wells Curtis, and then side paths of varying types all the way up through to the city. Of course, we know that in the city of Canandaigua, there's sidewalks already. They had some suggestions for making them better. They also looked at the intersections, of course, 5 and 20, but some of the other intersections as well, looking for ways to improve pedestrian crossing. Like they looked at White Cliff Drive. And then, of course, they looked at 5 and 20 and tried to recommend improvements based on feedback they got from the steering committee members and from the public at the workshop they held. I think they did a really good job of capturing everybody's comments and opinions. It was clear. I'm sorry?
Can I make a comment on that page you're just on there?
Yeah, sorry.
I think it would be really great to have some connectivity to Butler Beach or Butler Schoolhouse Park, especially with all the residential that's right nearby it.
Mhm.
It's one of the destinations that they identify in the plan, and again, giving that kind of makes sense with all the residences there through Fox Ridge and Saddleback. Make it easier to connect to that.
Point.
Did you make that comment to them before?
I might have in an earlier version. I still need to go through this myself and come up with comments.
I feel like we did have a conversation about Butler Road, but I can't remember what the outcome was.
Sarah, are they proposing any, I mean, to Eric's point there, the whole reason that we did this, a big part of the reason that we did this, I should say, is when the county did the Westlake Road study, there was actually a finding in that said, hey, it's very difficult to do stuff on County Road 16 given the access. The town of Canandaigua should consider linkages and look at Middle Cheshire Road. That was actually in the findings, which we used to get this grant. But
Yeah.
And I don't see any connections here other than this one on Wells Curtis Road. And I haven't gone through it. Do you know, are there other places in this document where they're showing linkages? Because it seems like they're missing a big chunk of the reason for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the focus I understood was to use Middle Cheshire Road instead. So the focus was Middle Cheshire Road, improving that. They do talk about it, but I mean, it's so long, I can't remember what pages they talked about the other roads. And like Eric said, I remember we talked about Butler Road, but I can't remember what page or what section it's on.
Didn't we talk about Butler Road, expanding it or something like that so people could travel between Westlake and Middle Cheshire?
Who?
Or maybe that was
Like in
another.
Complete Streets or something, or in this one?
During these sessions.
I just remember more of the Middle Cheshire Road conversations, but again, I'm just one person. If you know where it was, I'm all ears.
I don't really remember that, Gary. What did you mean by expansion?
Well, like a walking path or something like that, make the road wider or whatever. so people would be able to walk or bike or whatever between West Lake. But it could have very well been another study that I don't recall.
And just looking here on page 65, they are showing a interpretive park and trail connection from Middle Cheshire Road to Westlake Road. I honestly, I guess I need to go through this also, because I think we probably all do, honestly.
Yeah.
We need to go through it in light of the new potential parks. All three major roads, Butler, Weifels, and Foster, need to have some, in my opinion, some accommodations for pedestrian and bicycle traffic, because they all lead to Westlake Road and the general vicinity of Parkland.
Yeah. Good point.
It's a good point. I'm, of course, the decision hasn't been made on those parks yet, but at least a reference to them, which, to, not take anything against Bergman, it's kind of a late addition, something that's only come up recently, but
Yeah.
potential parkland.
Sarah, I was able to download the items from the link that Doug sent. It's just it's taken about 5 minutes. It is pretty large.
Yeah, it's like 50 megabytes or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of graphics in it. It's pretty
Yeah,
heavy.
So you just have to, when you click on it, you have to wait a couple of minutes for it to even start downloading.
Yeah.
Sarah, I know you said it at the beginning, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you to repeat yourself, but can
Sure.
you just tell me the process, where this is in kind of process right now, for us to just understand timing and going through this and getting comments back and that sort of thing?
So as far as our contract with Bergman, they've pretty much completed everything except for the final public meeting, and then, working with us on our own internal process that we usually use for, sending it to the town board and stuff. But this has gone back and forth with the steering committee several times now, and the steering committee all agreed that there was nothing left for them to do, and we can schedule the final public meeting. I'm sorry, is that what you meant?
Yeah, so there's still, obviously with another public meeting to go, there's still time to provide comments. And then, obviously there's still a long way to go before it gets to the town board in terms of being considered for adoption. So we're gonna have to just spend some time, it sounds like, going through it.
Okay. All right, well, it doesn't make sense to go page by page at this point since no one had a chance to see it. So is there anything else that anyone needed to talk about? I know we need to get back to finishing up the comprehensive plan, and I think the next items on our list were infrastructure and town operations that we hadn't gone over at one of our weekly meetings. So I would think we would do one of those next week. And then Eric, I know you were working on incorporating some of the stuff that we had talked about at the economic development meeting. Did you want to, would it work better for you, since I know your time is more limited, to go back through that one next week?
It's up to you guys there. Technically, my last day is Friday. Obviously, I'll be working, part-time for the town after that point. If you guys want me there on Tuesday, I'm happy to be. I don't have at this point those revisions done to the economic development section, so probably better to work on one of the other ones first.
Okay, and then you and I can touch base about the logistics of the rest of it too.
Yep.
Okay.
I would just kind of make a general comment, and I know we've got 2 town board members on the call here, but with a number of the transitions that we're going through, I would envision some of our planning aspects are probably going to slow down a little bit here as we work through some transitions, just to take care of basic operations, to keep things moving forward, make sure people get paid, those sorts of things. And as we fill those positions and move forward, then we'll ramp back up. But we currently are accepting resumes for the position of planner through January 29th. The county does the initial screening for us, and then we kind of go from there. So, and it's my understanding the county has been receiving resumes for that. So I'll keep you in the loop as I know more, but we're probably going to end up slowing down here just a little bit. So.
All right. I just have one more. Oh, go ahead, Eric. You first.
No, I was just gonna say my availability will be limited during like the daytime hours, but I'm gonna try to be available at nighttime to whether it's like reviewing the meeting videos or notes and whatnot, and just kind of making whatever changes and assistance that I can. So just gonna try to be helpful if I can.
Okay. Thank you. I just was thinking of one more thing. You know, this project started a long time ago, the Middle Cheshire Road project, and a lot has changed since then. And especially, you know, there's the new ideas of the new parks and everything, and Bergman has always been really good about being flexible and going with the flow as we ask for them to make changes or change their focus on any of the projects they've worked with us on. But I just want to mention that, you know, when we applied for the grant and when we worked on the scope with them, this is what we asked for. The focus was Middle Cheshire Road. And I just don't want to forget that they did what we asked for. Maybe what we want has changed, but I wouldn't put that on them, that they didn't do it, you know, or that they forgot. So for the purposes of this study and this plan, you know, I don't know if everybody reads through it and says, no, we need to look at all these connections, you know, we may need to talk to them about that. And we're going to have to ask for extensions from GTC for the grant. And I don't know what they'll say if we want to add new stuff. They may not grant us that extension. So just those things to keep in mind. Not saying everybody will get through it and say that. I just, you know.
The thing is, Sarah, our master plan, the Parks and Recreation master plan, all include increased access to the lake. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I hear that statement consistently across all the committees, all the activities in the town. And since Middle Cheshire Road is a major corridor in the town and also a major corridor to the lake, it seems to me that we should be able to get them to include the access to the lake, because that's part of our town mantra, increase access to Canandaigua Lake. So I think they should have seen that, frankly, but yeah, I agree that they'll be receptive to helping.
Well, I have nothing else. If anyone else does, or if there's, you know, we have been talking about the comprehensive plan for a long time, and there is a lot of other stuff we do need to cover. I've been looking at our schedule for this year, and I want to try and put something together that we can try and work with. So I hope to give that to you guys maybe next week. And it's going to look a little different. You know, we have been meeting weekly. I know we're going to continue meeting weekly until, you know, we're comfortable with the comprehensive plan and are ready to get that sent through. But I don't anticipate that we would continue meeting weekly for the rest of the year. So I'm going to try and figure out, you know, some sort of a schedule. But it's going to have to be a little bit fluid, I think, because I'm not sure that we can say this is the time when we're going to be finished with the comprehensive plan, and then this next time we'll start on this, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it'll have to be an evolving schedule, but, you know, and I just want to get some of our priorities for 2021 on a schedule. So, I mean, I know it's only January, but I'm already thinking about the rest of the year and everything that we have to stuff into it.
Mhm.
But so we'll meet next Tuesday and probably do the infrastructure goal. And I'll look back through my notes from the Planning and Public Works meeting because they did talk about it. And then we can go from there.
When will we, you know, kind of discuss the Middle Cheshire Plan then?
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess I would suggest that everybody come to the meeting on the 27th at noon. If you can.
Good idea.
Because Bergman will present it, assuming, you know, that members of the public who aren't familiar with it or who haven't looked at it yet. So they'll give a really good overview of it, as they typically do. And I imagine they may include some of their little real-time survey methods, unless we do it with Zoom, and then, because they've been using their own Blue Jeans thing, but when we do these, for their other studies, I mean, but when we do these meetings, we had requested Zoom, so they may not, but yeah, I mean, if you guys can come to that, that would be helpful.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can find wherever that email went that I tried to send and see if I can get it to send this time.
On the 27th, would they be recording the session and then have it available for us on our YouTube, or how would that work?
It's Zoom, it's our own Zoom, so yeah, it'll be
Our own
recorded.
Zoom. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can put a link to that up on the page and stuff like that too. So for people who didn't get a chance to go, they can watch it. All right. Well, if no one else has anything, I'm going to call it early. I'm going to see what I can do. I'll probably just send a new email.
Mhm.
Hopefully it'll go. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Good enough.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
You too.